So you're breaking up with me because I'm too blonde?
Hi and welcome to today's essay. I just saw Legally Blonde for the first time a few days ago. I didn't know what the film was about at all, and apart from a few viral clips, I didn't know anything about the film. And I have to say, despite a few moments where I wanted to hide in shame, the film was extremely entertaining and impressed me with its lightness and feel-good atmosphere. What was interesting for me though was how much I kept thinking of the Barbie film with Margot Robbie while watching it. All the more reason why I can't help but think that Legally Blonde might have played a role in the development of Barbie. However, we are going to take a closer look at the character of Elle Woods from Legally Blonde and find out why, despite its overacting and endless amount of stereotypes, the film is still a really good and entertaining one. But enough with the introduction, let's take a closer look at the character of Elle Woods. Even if you haven't seen Legally Blonde, we are all familiar with the stereotype of the blonde female lead. Extremely pretty, very concerned with her appearance, a little naive, and not the smartest person. But the whole concept of Legally Blonde is to play with those stereotypes and take them to another extreme. Within the first few minutes of the film, we learn that Elle is very intelligent and also has a very good memory when she explains to the saleswoman that the fabric for the dress she is trying to sell her could not have been sewn with the seam, and that she also saw it in a fashion magazine from last year. The saleswoman leaves her speechless and frustrated because she couldn't sell Elle a dress as easily as she had expected. But Elle remains unimpressed. It is as if she expects this kind of behavior from some people. The thing about Elle is that she is aware from the beginning that the people around her perceive her as this kind of dumb but hot blonde. Her boyfriend Warner has broken up with her because he wants
Jackie, not a Marilyn,
at his side for his career as a future senator. Her parents see her potential at Harvard Law School as wasted because Elle won a beauty pageant. So why the hell does she want to do something that requires her brains? Admittedly, Elle only wants to go to law school because Warner broke up with her and she hopes to win him back by studying there. After all, she would no longer be the dumb blonde, but someone to be taken seriously and therefore the perfect candidate for Warner again. The more shocked Elle is when she sees Warner with Vivian, the supposedly perfect partner with her brown hair, muted colors in her choice of clothes, and her discreet appearance. The exact opposite of Elle. Throughout the film, we also see Elle evolve as she tries to fit in more with her surroundings. From bright pink and lots of glitter, she gradually begins to adapt to the Harvard environment. Dark colors begin to dominate her wardrobe, and it is interesting to note that even though Elle is more successful in her studies, some of her vibrant personality is lost in the process. But then we come to the grand finale. Elle snatches the case from her professor, who tried to seduce her the night before, assuming that was the only reason why she applied for his internship. Elle successfully defends her role model, the successful fitness trainer Brooke, in a pink skirt suit, and her client is exonerated. A single costume says so much. It's the same color as her costumes at the beginning of the film, and it makes it clear that Elle has found her way back to herself and feels like herself again. She is aware of herself and also confident in being a blonde law student, a symbiosis that unites two different worlds. What once seemed contradictory is now connected, and Elle is confident that she can be pretty and smart as a blonde, and that it doesn't matter what color her hair is. Something that I personally found to be very positive is the fact that the women in this film always support each other in achieving their goals. And let's not forget Elle's supposed rival, Vivian. She bullied Elle, that should not be excused. But in the end, the two of them realized that they were fighting over the biggest loser of all, Warner. He didn't even get into Harvard Law School on his own, and his dad had to make a phone call before he got in. Elle did it on her own, and she did it very spontaneously, but she also had tremendous help from her friends in Delta Nu sorority. They helped her study for the LSATs and record the application video. I have to interject here that Elle's application video caused a lot of embarrassment for me, simply because Elle recorded her video in a bikini. But Elle approaches things with the ease of a Los Angeles sweetheart. I can accept that. Anyway, the people who never doubted Elle's abilities were her friends. They may not understand everything Elle does. For example, they thought they were going on a short vacation to Harvard when Elle told them that she wanted to go to Harvard, and yet they want to support her endeavor. Even if it's just the lucky scrunchie they ceremoniously present to Elle as a good luck charm. But Elle is not only supported by good friends, she also helps a friend in need whom she meets at a nail salon. This friend is named Paulette, and even though they come from very different social and financial backgrounds, neither of them let that get in the way of their friendship. Elle even helps Paulette to get her dog back from her ex-boyfriend and to figure out how she can get closer to Paulette's crush, the parcel delivery guy. For Elle and her friends, helping their friends in need is all that matters. And in the end, Vivian realizes how valuable it is to have such friends around instead of trying to outdo the supposedly female competition. Elle also gets some unexpected help from two other people. One of them is Emmett, a licensed attorney who works for Elle's Professor Callahan. He is the person who is always stopping by to give Elle good advice and help her navigate the difficult waters of Harvard Law School. What makes him special is that he is the only man who has never judged Elle on her looks and has always believed in her abilities. While Warner, Callahan, and even Elle's father only saw the blonde in her, Emmett always believed in her abilities as a future lawyer. It was only because he offered himself as a guide that Elle was allowed to take on Callahan's case in the finale. So naturally, he can't be left behind. The second person is Professor Stromwell. She kicked Elle out of her first class because Elle wasn't prepared. In the end, however, she is the person who is able to convince Elle to stay at Harvard and take Brooke's case after Callahan tries to make a pass at Elle. I am convinced that Stromwell did not kick Elle out of spite and arrogance. As a female professor, she must have experienced how difficult it is to navigate a male-dominated environment. I mean, just look at the Harvard admissions committee, drooling over Elle's application video. But Stromwell has made it to her position on the basis of merit and intelligence. At the end of the day, she is convinced that Elle has everything it takes to be a good lawyer. So why should she let so much potential go to waste? Stromwell wants her students to excel, and she encourages Elle to see that in herself. That she can score with her accomplishments, not just her looks. The film is full of stereotypes. The dumb blonde in Elle, the elitist, conceited new girlfriend of the ex in Vivian, or the failed woman who never managed to rise above herself in Paulette. From the first seconds we meet these characters, we as viewers know exactly where to place them and what role they have to play in this film. Vivian is Elle's adversary, and through Paulette, Elle is able to show what a good friend she is. A girl's girl after all. The fact that the stereotypes are just stereotypes and that there's more to each character is what makes this film so good. Except for Warner. Warner is Warner. At the same time, the stereotypes help us fall into this pink, sparkly, happy world of Elle. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that Legally Blonde brings a sense of lightness, and the stereotypes help with that too. They help our slow brains get to know and categorize the characters. Gradually, the film works its way toward breaking down these stereotypes without becoming uncomfortably judgmental. Elle gradually learns that she doesn't have to be the dumb blonde type, and we get to accompany her on her journey. We experience moments with her that are so full of absurdity and exaggeration that we may not even notice how the film gradually dismantles the stereotypes it uses. And that's what makes this film so powerful. It develops its message without trying to annoy us as viewers. We are entertained and we can just enjoy the comedy. At the same time, we are still experiencing a self-contained story, namely the development of Elle's character and how she stands up for herself more and more. This development keeps us on the edge of our seats. At the end of the day, we want to know if Elle will be able to get one over on Warner. In summary, the film uses stereotypes to give us, as viewers, an easy introduction and then breaks them down bit by bit so that we want to keep watching to see how everything turns out in the end. The film keeps its humor, and in the end we are surprised how fast the film is over, simply because we were really entertained. So what can we take away from Legally Blonde? Yes, this film offers light entertainment, is humorous in its exaggerations, and cleverly plays with its stereotypes, only to gradually break them down and give us a glimpse behind the characters' facades. With its subliminal message, it confronts us as viewers with our own stereotypes and how we can be stereotyped by those around us. This may sound extremely complicated, but being over-analytical is my hobby, hence this YouTube channel. The film shows us how you can successfully use stereotypes as a stylistic device to emphasize your own message and still provide successful entertainment, something you can easily miss in many of today's films. All the more reason for me, and maybe for you too, to think about why we don't see this lightness so often in today's productions. Feel free to write me your opinion in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you. And that brings us to the end of this essay. I hope you enjoyed the ride so far, and please leave a like. That would help me a lot. See you in the next video.